How's it going? So I want to start by saying, shoulder to shoulder, we're hosting this Ramadan initiative called Welcome to My Table, and we're pairing households.
Welcome to my table.
Yes,
It's
and
Knafeh.
that's right. And we're here sitting at our tables. I'm here with Fatmah Muhammad Williams of Knafeh Queens. My name's Nina. I'm the program director at Shoulder to Shoulder. And like I said, we're hosting this Ramadan initiative called the Welcome to My Table initiative, and we're pairing households with one another to connect across faith and cultural backgrounds over Ramadan. And here with Fatma, and Fatma, I want to start by asking you about your table. What is Ramadan like at your table? Tell us about what we're seeing.
So, Ramadan on our table is usually filled with so much joy, love, family, togetherness, unity. It could also, it just varies from day to day. It could be, some days with family and neighbors. It's not always just family. We break bread with for instance, before the pandemic, of course, we would have, we would break bread with the mayor or, with our interfaith community. And, so it's really just about, yeah, we usually have amazing food on the table. We always end with good desserts such as knafa. We always, of course, break our fast with dates, typically, and water. But yeah, it's definitely just from childhood memories up till now. It's always a time filled with so much, gratefulness, especially going through like a whole day of fasting, being thirsty and hungry. And when you see all the food, when there's like 10 minutes left, the countdown begins. But it's also a time to reflect, like, wow, we're so blessed because not everyone at the end of a fast actually has food to break their bread. So we try to, if taught at at the table, that's like something we try to focus on with the kids is, we kind of have them all go in a circle and share what they're most grateful for, just so we don't, because I keep telling them fasting isn't about just the food and just fasting from food. It's so much more than that. So yeah, so I don't know. I probably said too much, but yeah, that's for us. It's a lot, and but it's beautiful, and we love to share it with everyone.
Oh, thank you. That's beautiful. And a lot of what you shared, the sweetness of coming together with other people, we weren't able to do that, especially last year. And now this year
It
it's
was so hard. It was
yeah.
last year hit me like a ton of bricks, and I think my husband noticed it. He's more introverted, I'm extroverted, and I grew up. So my husband's African American and I'm Palestinian. So people call us a Blackistinian family, but he was totally fine. Like the pandemic, it was like, okay, we gotta quarantine, we gotta stay. He was like, okay, and I'm like, what? I can't see people. Like I grew up in a Palestinian household that constantly had hosted people and families. And I mean, our house, I just remember it being the United Nations. My dad had everyone from all different backgrounds over, and he was just like, this is this is how iftar should be. Like you shouldn't, inviting people is a huge part of, you get rewards for actually feeding people in Ramadan. So my dad really instilled that in us. So it's been a part of us. So last year was like, hold on, what? We can't host? Like, I was trying to cut corners. I'm like, okay, well, if me and this family like quarantine for 2 weeks and we can possibly like, meet, but then it, we just ended up, it was definitely, we made it work. We made the most out of it. We spent it with the kids, lots of learning, and even that, just the blessings of community and how, like, you know, overnight when it's taken away from you, you're like, man, you know, it's something that you really take for granted when something like a pandemic hits. And I didn't realize, I told all my good friends, oh my God, if I ever took you for granted, I'm sorry. Even my sisters and my family, because you truly, like, you're so busy in the hustle bustle of things that you almost forget the most important things and what brings you joy until it's literally taken away. You're like, man, you know, but
Totally.
yeah, so we're
Totally.
looking forward to this year. I know things are kind of, you know, my most of my family has their immunization, and you know, I think things are starting to open up more. So we're excited to break our fast with more people this year.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear. And I mean, one of the ways at Shoulder to Shoulder that we have kind of worked in this space with the changing times is last year we did this an experimental initiative called Welcome to My Table, where we paired households with one another to share an iftar. And it was like, you know, a much more intimate experience in some ways because you're connecting with people in their homes and rather than
That's
at a public event,
beautiful.
you know, rather than a public event. And so right now, you know, I'm at my parents' table at my parents' house. I've got the china cabinet with some china and pictures. I'm drinking a passion fruit juice made with Sri Lankan oriental.
No.
There's a picture of my baby there in the background.
Aww.
Tell me about what we're seeing in your home. What's that beautiful Knafeh in front of you? Tell us more, as
So
well as that art.
I'm the co-owner, me and my daughter, she's the other owner of Knafeh Queens. Famous Knafeh, we ship worldwide. And we've gotten 5 awards for it, you know, between the Claremont Pie Festival, LA Fair, Cupcake Wars, Orange County Fair. And what it is, it's a Palestinian dessert that's, I don't know if you guys can see it. Here's an up close. It's like the outer crust is crispy and buttery and flaky, and the center is just oozing blend of cheeses. And it's my mom's famous recipe. And then we top it off with this amazing simple syrup. So yeah, so that's definitely always a part of our Ramadan. It's, you know, we don't go to an iftar without it. We always, if we're invited, that's something that we always take with us. If people are coming over, they know they don't leave without knafeh. They're like always, yeah. So it's like, it's definitely a part of a big part of our Ramadan tradition. But yeah, and we typically, yeah, so this is huge. And of course, we have like usually a huge feast of Palestinian dishes. My husband's, he's gotten hooked on Palestinian food. And I love, you know, you know, so we do a lot of fusion cooking, but yes, mostly in Ramadan, I would say we do a lot of Palestinian cooking. So anywhere from maklouba, which is like an amazing, famous Palestinian rice and meat and vegetable dish, all the way to kifta and kebabs and, you know, lots of salads, lots of soups, especially after fasting all day. We usually we start out with the date and water, and then some sort of soup, a lentil soup, vegetable soup, and then yeah, and then we feast on the other good stuff.
I love it. My mouth is watering thinking about all this.
Oh my God, you have to join us this year.
And tell me more about Knafeh Queens and the business and your crown. I love that crown. Tell us more.
Oh, so it's funny. So I learned how to make my mother's knafeh at age 7. So it's been like a love of mine, passion of mine. Since I was a little girl, I would just watch I would literally watch my mom like a hawk while she's making it. And I'm just trying to like, take it all in. And she had no idea that I was like, just learning it. And so there was one day, we're a family of it's 6 siblings, so we're a big family. My dad has like 8 siblings. My mom has a ton of siblings, so a bunch of cousins. So my dad, we always had just random guests. Just on any random day, you can have like 10 people show up, 20 people show up, and that was like the norm in our family. And one day, I remember my dad saying, okay, we're having these guests over. My mom was like, usually her Knafeh was something that she made for all the guests. And that night I saw it, she was like flustered and she just had so many other things to prepare. And I was like, oh, I'll make it for you. And she was like so picky with her recipe and like, you can't butcher it type of thing. Like, and I was like, no, mom, I got it. And she was like, she kind of like was forced to let me, take over that night. And she was like, if you mess it up, like you're not allowed to make it for until like you're a lot older. And I remember getting it down perfectly. And I was just like, okay, step by step. I've been watching mom do this for like years, and now I have it down. And the guests that night were like, oh my gosh, like this Knafeh is so good. And they had no idea I made it. And my mom looked at me and she was like, she had her proud moment. And I was just like a kid in a candy store, like, oh my gosh, I just won my mom's approval of her Knafeh. So yeah, it was something that I always made for family and friends. I kind of took over making it even when I grew up in Missouri, and we moved to California in 2000, after having my 4th kid, because I'm a psychology major. Anybody that would have my Knafeh would be like, girl, like this is just too good. Why isn't this in stores, or why aren't you selling it? And I think for me, it wasn't until my eldest daughter, she was 10 at the time, she learned how to make it from A to Z, and she perfected it. And then her friends were like, oh my God, hooked on it, and her teachers. And I was like, hey, the ingredients are expensive for a Knafeh. You need to like not make it so much. And she's like, well, why don't we sell it? And that was kind of like, I wasn't like, yeah, that's such a smart idea. I was just kind of like, it was in the back of my head, but like I didn't really take it in. And it was just like so many incidents like that kept happening. And I was like, okay, God's talking to me, like we need to start this, right? But I told my daughter, I don't want to start this business if we don't have a purpose. And at the time, Trump, it was around the time that the San Bernardino shooting happened, and just all that rhetoric, the negative, all the news about like Muslims and the negativity about Muslims. And I told my daughter, you know what, like Knafeh brings so much joy and happiness to anybody's face. Like, name it, like anybody sad, anybody like mad, anybody I've given Knafeh, they're always just instant like happiness. So, and I said, that was like even our slogan is serving royal happiness and unity, with through our Knafeh with every bite. So she was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then we entered our first pie festival. And I remember the gentleman in line before me was like, who dropped you off? And I was like, what do you mean who dropped me off? And in that moment, like, he probably thought I was gonna like, attack him or get angry. And I was like, oh no, I actually dropped off my husband and I came. And he was like really just short with me. Like he had like this preconceived, he thought like I didn't speak English. He thought I was oppressed. And, you know, just from that few conversations, like the few times I spoke, I think he got that, okay, no, this woman is like pretty smart. She's like witty and I was throwing out my like, you know, sense of humor. I ended up getting first place in the pie that day. And I saw him from the corner of my eyes, like looking, and he was just like, you know, I felt like he wanted to say something. So I just waved, and then he ended up saying, "Oh, congratulations." He's like, "I want to know about your pie." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's working." You know, that like, so, and it just kind of pushed me even more like, man, we have work to do. We have to tell people our narrative. I'm not Trump. Donald Trump cannot tell them, you know, he can't tell people about Muslims because he doesn't know our experience. He doesn't know, you know, and so, and that was proof for us that day. That guy was just like, pretty much like, I was wrong. I had like this, I watch the news, like Fox News really makes it seem like you guys are bad people. And apparently you're not. And like, you've been like so kind. I offered him some of my pie. He was in love. And so I was just like one person at a time. And so there's been so many beautiful instances like that where people were just like, you know, I didn't want to, you know, get to know a Muslim person until you know, I saw you at an event, at an interfaith event, and you were just like, it was so inspiring to hear your story and how you started your business. And you know, your kids, like, it's, you know, two different backgrounds. And so it's been amazing. We've catered you know, we ship all over the world. We ship, you know, I would say the top states, of course, after California, being our top customer, New York, Chicago, Florida are probably our top three states we ship to. But then we ship everywhere. I mean, Missouri, Kansas, Utah, and everyone. Like, it's so fun. I was just telling my sisters the other day, it's so exciting looking at the names of my customers when the orders come in, because it's not just like, you know, Abdullah or Fatima, or, you know, it's like Jake, or, you know, Martha, or, you know, just so many different nationalities. And I'm just like so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, our pie is reaching everyone. Everyone's listening to our story. Um, and my mom, you know, my mom came here. They pretty much left Palestine because of the oppression of the, you know, Zionists. And they're so limited in like growing there, right? And so they came here to give us a better opportunity. So I think my mom, seeing that her Knafeh Palestinian recipe is like going literally from like the West Coast to the East Coast, from coast to coast, is just it's like an unbelievable feeling for her. I could see. And the other day I told her, mom, we just got into our first grocery store, and as I was telling her, like, she like teared up. And it was just like a priceless moment for us, because, you know, our parents worked, you know, just endlessly. You know, they didn't know the language when they came out here. None of them spoke English. My mom didn't know how to drive. There were no phones. My mom said, you know, my dad would literally sell stuff out of his trunk to make ends meet, and he would be gone for weeks at a time. My mom not being able to communicate with him, and this is all in hopes to give their kids, you know, a better. They wanted to give us something better than what they were, you know, growing up in occupation wasn't fun and exciting for them. So they wanted us to have different. So, you know, so it's been exciting just taking something from my childhood and seeing it bridge so many different gaps, and having conversations with all different backgrounds over Knafeh. Even at my husband's family reunion, who's all African American, for dessert on on our award night. They have like a formal night, which is like kind of like you know, like fancy dinner. Like it's almost like it's just like a fancy yeah, like a formal, like a gala, but a family gala. And they I had we served my Knafeh. This was in Arkansas. So it's different states. Every 2 years, it's in a different state. And everyone was just like, oh my gosh, like seeing everyone's reaction in that room, you know, over the Knafeh was just like such a special moment for me. And, you know, proof that if we are all open-minded and just open to getting to know one another, we're actually gaining so much more than, and you know, like everyone that night was like, I cannot believe I've never had Knafeh before this. So it was just exciting, and people wanted to get to know about my background, my heritage, my, you know, so it's just beautiful. I think it's been a beautiful journey. We've catered to people like DJ Khaled, Dua Lipa, the Hadids, um, Masari, you know, so many different. Just it's been a really awesome experience, and especially since my girls are a part of the business, and just them seeing the importance. We do a lot of, you know, giving with our Knafeh. We do a lot of sponsorships. So organizations will reach out to us and say, hey, will you donate some Knafeh pies so we can auction them out? And, you know, there's one organization, Give Light, we were able to auction our 2-layer Knafeh cake for $1,400. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like it was just such an, you know, so things like that, truly, truly is just so, it brings us so much joy and so much happiness. And yeah, so it's really, I love the shoulder to shoulder, what you guys are doing, because I feel like it's so similar to what we're doing. So I'm so excited to collaborate with you guys, and this is beautiful. I'm so excited to be a part of, you know, your guys' organization.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I feel like I didn't even have to interview you. You just had so much great stuff to share. So really, really grateful for your time. Is there anything else you want to?
You're probably wondering why I wear the crown. So this is like the Knafeh Queen crown. I mean, yes, I'm like amazing at making the Knafeh, and I am the Knafeh Queen. But for me, when I'm out, when we do our pop-ups or any event I attend, I love sharing the crown with everyone. I'm like, everyone is a queen in my eyes, and everyone is special in their own way. And we even have a crown for the guys, you know, so it's really just, it's more than just the Knafeh, you know. For me, it's like, you know, what difference are you making in this world? How are you changing, you know, how are you adding positivity and light into this world? So here, come here. The Knafeh princess wants to make an appearance. She wore her crown.
Hi. Hello. Nice to see you.
Oh, tell them your name. Who are you?
I'm the Knafeh princess.
Ooh.
What's your name?
Yeah.
Karima.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, so she's amazing, and she's a huge part of the customer service. Customers love meeting her, and it's funny, even when we're in public, people notice her and they're like, the Knafeh princess.
Oh.
You know, and I try to remind her, don't take that like in it, you know, I don't want your head to get all big. I want you to say, oh, am I inspiring people in a positive way? You know, what am I doing to make a difference? And so, you know, it's like a constant, because, you know, sometimes, you know, that, you know, especially since we've grown so much in the past, you know, year or two, it's like, we're like, okay, you guys regroup. Why did we start? What are we here for? What is our mission? What's, you know, and so, yeah. So yeah, it's always exciting, just seeing the difference it makes in our Knafeh has the difference it's made in so many people's lives. There's one story that that's so near and dear to me. We have a Knafeh subscription, and one of my customers who was her subscription, she signed up for a year, and then during the beginning of the pandemic, she was like, hey, I hate to do this, but I got laid off of my job, and like, can I cancel my subscription until I get a new job? And so I just surprised her, and we continued every month to send her, her knafas. And I got a message from her one day, and she was like, I literally, like, when I received the knafa, and I left her a message, good luck with finding a job, but don't worry, you're still gonna get your knafa on the house, our treat. And she said it just like literally, like it made the pandemic like not so bad. And she said it made her look at things in such a different light. And she was just so taken aback, and it was just like such a happy. Oh, and then when she got a job, she resubscribed, and she sent me like the sweetest gift ever, like a beautiful, beautiful outfit. And I was just like, wow, like it's amazing. Like it's something that I truly believe, like what you bring to the table, like you get it back even more, and so spread good and happiness, and it's, you're gonna get it right back. So what's another story? Oh, we had this is like some guy said that him and his wife were like about to like, they were like literally signing divorce papers, but he was like hoping that, he was like, I want to try everything, like, and he was like, oh, she loves your kanafa, so I'm going to surprise her with your kanafa. And apparently they didn't get a divorce. She was like, so he messaged me, oh my God, when she got your kanafa, she was like, I'm not going to sign the divorce papers anymore. And he's like, why? Like, he was just curious. He was so happy. She's like, the kanafa as a gift, like literally won my heart. He was like, your knafa saved our marriage. So I always joke with people, I'm like, hey, our knafa saves marriages, but so it's been, just literally, or even, there's been the healthcare workers. We've donated to thousands of healthcare workers, and even them, they're like, we can afford your kanafa, but the fact that, we're being, you guys are thinking of us and acknowledging our hard work just means so much more. And so it's so special to us. So it's just, it's beautiful. Like, just, making people happy through our kanafa is literally what we're here for. So we're hoping, to continue this legacy even after I'm gone. We're not going to live forever. I hope the Knafeh Queens legacy continues for, generations and years to come. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
So inspired by you and what you're doing and your stories, and so wonderful to meet one of the princesses.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's amazing, as everyone was like, how did you meet Dua Lipa? Do you know Dua Lipa, the singer?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So, when we met her, like, it was like as if like the way she was treating us as if we were the celebrities. And we're like, she's like, I love your guys' kanafa. And, and it was just like so crazy to know. Like, I told my mom, like, like I just feel like, when you have a purpose, like it just kind of like, I don't know, people tell me like, how come, what's pushing your business forward? How are you doing so well? And I was like, you have to be passionate. You have to have passion and a purpose. If you don't have those two things, I don't know, like people see it. Like I've honestly I went and bought from a certain business where I'm just kind of like, you don't feel that um like the love and the passion when they're making it. And I'm just like, I'll buy, I'll support them, but then I won't continue going back when, and there's businesses where I instantly feel that, and I gravitate towards that. So, just I tell people, stay true to yourself. You don't have to change. I didn't have to take off my hijab. I didn't have to strip away my Palestinian side or take away my kids half Black, half Palestinian. Be proud of who you are. Don't change who you are, and just, spread love, and just fight hate with kindness. That's what I always tell my children. If someone is rude to you, just tell them, don't, of course, unless they're like getting physical, you gotta jump in and, defend yourself. But, when someone has something smart to say, don't think you have to automatically react and be rude, or, because I think every single person that has been rude to me or racist towards me, by me just simply being kind and nice back, they always end up wanting to listen, and they always regret what they said. Not always. I've had like a really racist guy that he was just not trying to hear. And at that moment, I just like walked away. I was like, okay, he got pretty, it got scary. So I'm like, okay, walk away. But for the most part, really, it's amazing how, how much as a person you can make a difference in the world. Everyone, not just me, everyone has it in them. You just have to trust that, and believe in yourself.
I love this. I love that that you have made it so clear, and it's so tangible. You could taste the love, even in the canapes.
You can taste the love and
That's
the
great.
unity, the peace.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So we're excited to collaborate with Knafeh Queens in an exciting raffle for Welcome to My Table. So if you sign up, you are entered automatically into the raffle, and you and your match, your household match, will get a free knafeh.
You guys did not want to miss out. Award-winning knafeh. It's so addicting. Sign up, you guys, and your chance to win this, you will not regret it.
Awesome.